Hello everyone, dear friends. Will Ly Tu Diem accept CEO Toan's proposal? When will the wedding take place? The summer wind drifted through the rooftop garden, carrying the faint sweetness of night-blooming jasmine and the distant hum of the city far below. Lanterns' tiny suns caught in woven bamboo cages cast warm halos over the quiet space. Ly Tu Diem had never stood so high above the streets, yet her pulse still echoed the earthbound rhythm of the girl who once gathered firewood beside a river and bartered wild papayas for a single bowl of rice. Tonight the air tasted of orange blossoms and unspoken promises. Toan's footsteps approached from behind, measured, familiar, a cadence she recognized from nights he paced hospital corridors while she slept. When he stopped, the world seemed to inhale with him. Diem turned. The first thing she noticed was not the velvet ring box in his hand, but the tremor at its hinge. Even a man who commanded skyscrapers could shake in the face of love. "Diem," he began, voice low, "I used to think survival was a matter of contracts and concrete. Then you stepped between me and the storm and taught me it's really about two hearts refusing to fall alone." He opened the box. Inside, a river-green jadestone, her favorite color, the color of the forest that once hid them, gleamed like a drop of dawn. Memories surged, her mother-in-law's furious accusations, the roar of rain on corrugated tin, the fever that stole her strength in the abandoned cottage. Yet woven through those shadows were new threads, Toan's steady arms, the taste of warm broth he spoon-fed her, the gentle laughter of his mother learning to trust a stranger. Tears blurred the lanterns into golden asters. She wanted to say yes, to let the past finally unclench, but fear still coiled like old rope around her chest. Would accepting him mean condemning him to fight every ghost that haunted her? She opened her mouth, silence, then a rush of breath. "I'm scared," she whispered, "not of you, but of how heavy my story might be for your house to hold." Toan knelt deeper, as though rooting himself to bear any weight she carried. "Let me shoulder it beside you. A house built for one heart is fragile. A house built for two can survive any storm." The garden hushed. Even the wind seemed to pause, listening for the hinge of destiny. Diem felt the rope around her chest loosen, fiber by fiber, until it fell away. She nodded once, then again, the motion gathering courage like momentum down a hill. A soft gasp escaped her lips, half sob, half laughter. "Yes," she said, the word trembling into the night. "Yes, Toan." He slipped the jade ring onto her finger. Lantern light sparked off its surface, scattering 100 miniature dawns across her skin. Somewhere below, a car horn sounded life continuing, unaware that two worlds had just fused into one. "When?" she asked, cheeks flushed, suddenly shy in the wake of her own bravery. Toan rose, brushing dew from his knee, and drew her close. "The Mid-Autumn Festival," he answered, eyes shining with the certainty of someone who has finally reached shore. "September 21st, 3 moons from now. Under the fullest moon of the year, so every time it rises after that, it will remind us of tonight. 3 moons. 90 days to gather blessings, mend old wounds, and weave her once fractured story into silk strong enough for wedding banners." Diem exhaled, relishing the solid feel of his heartbeat against hers. Thumb, 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 thumb a new rhythm, already in perfect time with her own. Below the rooftop, the city lights blinked like patient stars. Above them, real constellations mirrored the pattern. And in the middle, suspended between what was and what could be, Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan began counting down the breaths, the heartbeats, the luminous nights until September 21st, until lanterns, vows, and moonlight turned their shared survival into forever. The days that followed the proposal moved like silk through Diem's fingers, soft, surreal, and faster than she could grasp. Toan kept his promise. Each morning, she woke to the scent of warm soy milk and rice, porridge left carefully on the kitchen counter with a note in his neat handwriting. "Eat well, rest. We've waited long enough for joy. Let's not rush it now." Sometimes, there was a single wildflower beside the bowl, like a silent vow that no part of her, not even the past, would be forgotten or discarded. Diem had never imagined preparing for a wedding. In her old life, marriage was a transaction cold, coerced, and sealed with dowries and debts. But here, in this new chapter, every choice felt like a way to reclaim herself. She chose a modest odi in ivory, hand-stitched with tiny cranes along the hem. Toan's mother, once cold and skeptical, helped her pick it out. "Cranes stay with one mate for life," she had said, surprising both of them. But peace never arrives without shadows. One afternoon, as Dame sorted invitations, a letter arrived. No return address, only her name scrawled in jagged ink. Inside was a photograph, her old wedding portrait, the one she thought had burned long ago in her escape. On the back, 6 words, "You can run, but not forever." Her hands trembled, the room blurred. For a second, she was back in that crumbling village house, the sour stench of sweat and rice wine, the slam of a door, the burn of betrayal. That night, Toan found her on the balcony, clutching the photograph, eyes distant. "Who sent it?" he asked softly. "I don't know. But it's a reminder that ghosts don't stay buried," she replied, voice hollow. Toan looked at her, not the woman he had proposed to under lanterns, but the girl who had once stood barefoot and broken in a rainstorm. "Do you still want to marry me?" he asked. She turned to him, tears threatening but not yet falling. "More than anything. But I don't want your life to become a battlefield for mine." He stepped closer. "Diem, you didn't make the war. But together, we'll end it. And if anyone tries to take you again, they'll have to go through me first." She smiled, then a tired, fragile smile, but real. "Even if my past shows up on the wedding day?" "Especially then," he said, touching her hand, "because that's the day we fight it together." The next few weeks were filled with quiet preparations and louder watchfulness. Toan tightened security at the wedding venue, made private inquiries, and kept Diem close whenever he could. His friends Toon, Fan, and even the reclusive architect who owed him a favor rallied behind them. Diem began to believe again, not just in Toan, but in a future that didn't erase her past, only held it gently. The night before the wedding, she lit incense in the garden 3 sticks, one for each chapter of her life, the girl she had been, the woman she had become, and the bride she would be. And far away, in a dim room, someone else watched a photograph of Diem, burn in a shallow tray, the ashes lifting like threats into the dark. Tomorrow was the wedding, but not everyone wanted it to happen. Life lesson from the story of Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan. The story of Ly Tu Diem and CEO Toan teaches us a powerful lesson. Love that is true does not run away from the past. It faces it, heals it, and builds a new future from it. Diem's journey reminds us that no matter how broken or painful our past may be, we are not defined by it. Healing takes time, trust, and courage. Sometimes it also takes the presence of someone who chooses to walk beside us, not because we are perfect, but because we are worth it even with our scars. Toan's commitment shows that love is not only about beautiful moments and sweet promises. It is about standing firm when fear returns, offering protection when danger comes, and being willing to carry someone's burden when it becomes too heavy. In life, many people run from those who carry pain or difficult histories. But the story teaches us the right person will not be afraid of your shadows. They will bring light into them. And together, with patience, hope, and faith, even the most wounded hearts can find home. So the lesson is simple yet deep. Don't be afraid of your past. Don't be ashamed of your story. The right person will not only accept it, they will honor it. And in the end, love built on truth is the strongest kind of love there is.